Most relationships do not drift apart because of one huge betrayal. A lot of the time, distance grows from small disappointments that never get repaired. First, we will identify the kind of tiny moment that usually starts the pattern. Then, we will look at the story your mind builds around disappointment. Next, we will break down how protection turns into withdrawal. After that, we will replace the mistake with a repairable conversation. Finally, we will turn this into a simple habit you can actually use. Repairable can actually use. Imagine someone comes home habit than they said they would, or they forget something that mattered, or they resurface with half a detention. Nobody yelled, nobody packed back, but inside one person quietly thinks, again, I guess I am on my own with this. The mistake is not having that feel. Disappointment is normal. The mistake is letting the feeling turn into a private verdict about the relationship. The mistake is letting the feeling turn into a private verdict about the relationship. Terrible conversation. A forgotten plan to comes, I care more than they do. A distracted answer becomes like.
The reason this story feels so convincing is that it usually has history behind it. Maybe this has happened before. Maybe someone has had to ask too many times. Maybe the disappointment touches an older fear.
Touch them, fear, skip the conversation, preparatory time, straight to the conclusion. Your partner never gets a clear chance. Repairable can actually use. If this gives language to a pattern you have seen in your own life, subscribe for more grounded relationship troll that focused at not blame. Once the verdict forms, the next moves usual to someone always stops asking. They act fine but withhold warmth. They become polite instead of close. Then the other person feels the distance but may not understand the source. They may get defensive, distracted, irritated, or avoidant. Now both people are reacting to the gap instead of the original disappointment. Repairable you can actually use. This is how small disappointments come distance, hunts, hurt, and pulls back. The other person feels punished and pulls back too. Nobody feels understood and both people feel alone. The repair starts by naming the moment without turning it into a character trial. Instead of felt and you never care try when that happened, I felt unimportant and I started pulling away. Then name the pattern, something like, I think I made a story in my head instead of checking it with you. Repairable you can actually use. That sentence lowers the threat because it invites repair instead of demanding. Finally, ask for the care you actually, not of a vague demand to be better, but something specific. I need a quick update when something specific. I need you to ponto to it pinch, or I need you to pause and listen before we move on. The habit is simple, but it takes honesty. Am I responding to what happened or to the meaning I attached to what happened? Repairable conversely use. If the meaning is heavy, do not bury it and do not launch it like an accusation. Or check it. Say, I noticed I am taking this personally and I want to understand what was going on. Closeness is not built just by never disappointing each other. It is built by making disappointment speakable before it becomes distance, turning mistake, small disappointment into a silent conclusion. Repairable conversely use. The repair is to separate the event from the story, name the feeling, and ask with someone who values emotionally honest relationships. Share this with someone who values emotionally honest students, I suppose, especially if you both want fewer silent gaps. Do not let silence do the talking. Relations disappointment shows up. Give the relationship a chance to understand what hurt.